fold your first piece of string in half with a little loop at the centre, and you're going to tie a thumb knot to hold it in its first position here. This is how you make a thumb knot, and you position it like that, tightening it into place. And I've secured it with a pin. If you don't have pins in a pin board, you can just hold it on the table with a piece of masking tape down in place like that, and then again at the next position. So the second knot is about 7 centimeters down, doesn't have to be exact, you can see mine's not. And we're going to do the same knot again. We're going to put another pin in place or another piece of masking tape, but the masking tape would be there this time. And next you're going to thread on any beads that you might be adding before you tie this third knot. So I've got some beads left from a previous project because I've taught this workshop a few times. If you're going to thread beads on, the best way to do it is to make an aglet like on a shoelace with some masking tape. Remembering if you've got letters or a word that you need to start with the last one so that it goes on in this order. And then I tied my third knot, same again, a thumb knot just here, and that is about the circumference of, or the wrist measurement that you want. I've made mine slightly smaller and so that it would all fit on the board so I could show you what I'm doing. Taking your second piece of string, the longer one, find the centre of it and position it just above this point here around that pin, or tape it down if you need to. You're going to tie it around this central core of string, and we're going to be doing flat knots. So we start by making a loop on the left side. The right string goes across over, and then it goes under here and up through that loop, and I'm going to repeat this lots of times for you to see. My string is a little bit shorter than yours. To make it easier to show you what I'm doing, yours will be quite a bit longer than this, so make sure you keep track of which is which. So we started with a loop on the left side. We're going to alternate now and do a loop on the right side. So we make a loop, this piece of string comes down over the top, and then it goes under the centre ones, and it comes up through this loop here. And I will do that slowly so you can see the shape it's made. And we gently position it up at the top. Okay, pulling those just tight enough but not too tight. Once you've been knotting for a little while, you'll get this nice pattern start to build up. If yours is spaced out, you can slide them up to make a nice evenly sitting pattern like that. And it's time to work out where you want your beads. So I know that I'm writing a 4-letter name and I want them about in the middle, and I'm going to space them out a bit with a knot in between as well. So it's going to be roughly like that. And to mark where my first bead is going to be, I've just put a pin in there, or you could put a piece of tape, and then I know where to keep knotting to. So I'll just do a couple more knots so I know that my next loop needs to be on this side because I've got that little loop there. Okay, just to remind you. Off I go. So I've reached the place where I'm going to put the first bead, so I'll take that pin out now, put it away in my pin cushion, and I'm going to put that bead into position, and then I'm just going to carry on doing my knotting but around that bead. So the loop comes around this way because we've got a little loop here. It goes up there through there, and then I tighten the knot very gently into position. So next I'm going to do a loop here so that I've done a complete flat knot. So the flat knot is one on each side, making a pair of knots. Let's get under there. Okay, so that one's in. Then I slide the next bead up into the position, nice and tight. Going to start this side because I've got this little loop here to remind me. Go under, over the centre, and then I'm going to go under there through there, Then I've got that one done. Next I'm going to go this way to complete the knot, using tweezers to make it quicker and make it clearer for you to see. There we go. I'll carry on till I've finished all the beads, and then I will keep knotting all the way down to this pin here. The main part of the bracelet is finished. Now we're going to make the fastener. So I've repositioned it on the board and I've pinned it, mostly so you can see what's going on clearly. I've tied a knot here, which was at the bottom end as it was on the board previously. So now we have the loop from the original top and a knot, and then we have a fourth knot here. And these are going to be to the ends of the bracelet. The fastening part is going to be a series of flat knots around these pieces of string here. So I start with my third piece of string and position it so that the middle of it is under these pieces of string here, and I'm going to start my flat knot. So I'm going to start with a left over, and I'm going to use these tweezers just so you can see what I'm doing, but really I could do it perfectly well with my fingers. I'm trying to make it as clear as possible. That's the first half of a knot, and then the second half. Let's go like this. Strings misbehaving. There we go. So that's the second half of the knot. Pulling it gently so it goes into the right place. And as you've probably found out by now, the trick to this is not the tying of the knots, it's positioning them and making them look nice afterwards. And then they stay put. So let's do another one. Tweezers under there. There we go. Oops, it's missed. Using a hair grip again, I've included it in the last few knots. I've trimmed these ends really so that you can see what I'm doing. Your strings will still be longer than this. And we're going to insert them through the loop of the hair grip. If they won't behave, make a little aglet as we did before when we needed to thread the ends through. Should go through there, leaving a little bit of loose slack there. Going to ease this through. You will have to persuade it, holding the knots while you do it, so that they don't just all pull out of position. It's coming through. There we are. Once that is through, I can trim that, pulling those excess bits out. And again we have disappeared our ends, and now we have a complete bracelet with an adjustable fastening that looks like that.